Welcome, hero screwing bankers, to Geek Salad's retro reviews. I really had nothing for this.
Yeah.
For the Geek Salad podcast, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And tonight, we're not talking about cars.
Last minute substitution here.
Yeah, we're gonna review the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why. I know we've been putting off cars for a while, and today was legitimately going to be the day I was going to watch Cars. I had a class that I was like the man in the chair today. It was really awesome. I was in the production seat all day. 6-hour class.
Does that make me Spider-Man?
I wasn't doing it for you.
Oh.
So I was in a class for legitimately 6 hours. It wrapped at 2 by the time the class ended, and I wrapped up, and I had to clean out our facilitation rooms and all that. And then I get this message that, oh, by the way, you've got another call at 2, which went an hour and a half. So it's like at 2:00, I was planning on going upstairs, grabbing some lunch, coming back down, and I just recently moved my Chromecast from my TV, my smart TV, which I don't know why I had a Chromecast on my smart TV. So I moved it down to my office TV. So I could just stream while I'm working, because I always need some background noise. I'm going to watch Cars. And that did not happen today. I did manage to watch a little bit of it, but not enough. And I kind of feel like this is now my Zack Snyder's Justice League, because it will take me a damn week to watch this movie, which we were astounded when we found out that Cars is 2 hours long.
Yeah. I was going to come home and watch it tonight. Then I looked at it at work. I'm like, that's 2 hours long. If I get home at like 6:30, which I'm probably going to, and actually end up getting home around like 7, actually. But I was like, there's not going to be nearly enough time to watch this tonight.
No.
So
where do they get the balls? I mean, we'll review this next week. Scout's honor. Where do they get the balls to make a 2-hour-long animated movie
about Cars?
Right, exactly. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, we'll take a look at that for next week. We'll answer the trivia question. I don't know if it's the longest Pixar movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look it up, but
right,
we're not talking about it.
Either that or one of the Incredibles movies. That's all I know. I'm leaving it there. I'm putting it down. Yeah. We're not talking about Cars. We're not talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm going to be doing that next week with Tom from Movies After Work, because we need therapy.
And I just can't get up to the enthusiasm to watch a 4-hour-long movie. But a director, I'm really not that fond of.
I'll just preface this as a sneak peek preview. It took me a week to get through it.
Fair enough.
But anyway, let's talk about something that made us happy last week, which was the premiere of the Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. Now, this was supposed to be the first MCU-based live action show, which was that was actually a legitimate continuance of the MCU. Like I know we had we talked about this before when we discussed the season for WandaVision, that like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good, but really didn't feel like a continuance at all. It was almost like a off thing, and all the Netflix Street Level Defenders shows were all pretty much, they existed in the same universe, but were never acknowledged as being such.
Yeah, it's always been very one-sided. Like, the TV can affect the movies or reference the movies, but the movies have never even touched the TV. Right,
exactly. And we saw that with WandaVision, which was not supposed to be the first, and we discussed that. The first was going to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier, but due to COVID, all that fun stuff, it got moved. And it got moved to being the second one. And it is kind of nice that we're going to get these blocks. So we had a block of WandaVision, week off, block of Falcon, block of Falcon, Winter Soldier, probably a week off, Loki.
Might be a little bit more than a week, because I know Loki's, right? I thought it was May.
No, I think I want to say Loki's June, but then again, I mean,
Falcon
Winter Soldier is 6 episodes. And they didn't do the same thing they did with WandaVision, which was the 2 episodes at once to premiere it with. So they only did the first episode. Did you find it?
I've got it up. I'm just trying to find the date. Oh yeah, June 11th. You're right.
June 11th? Okay.
So we're going to actually have about a month off.
About a month off. Okay.
Month
And,
and a half.
That's fine, because what we'll do is we'll end up getting we'll get a Marvel Legends 5-minute little thing on Loki.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a behind the scenes. I think they just call it Assembled for Falcon and Winter Soldier, like they did with WandaVision. So it's a fun time right now, again, to have Disney Plus, and we are really unpaid shills for this streaming service, but yeah, exactly. Behold my harvest of Marvel and Star Wars and Mickey Mouse and everything.
This hat cost me about $300.
Yeah, well, you did go to D23 as well.
Yeah. I got a lot for that $300.
I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. But anyway, let's discuss the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have to say, yes.
First up, are we going spoiler here?
We are going full spoilers. The 72-hour embargo is over. If you're watching this, you legitimately want to know what we thought about it, because our opinions weigh so highly in your minds.
Thank you.
It's like all the other podcasts that I work with on Twitter. They're all like, hey, you know what? Yeah, everyone's good and all. What do Andy and Mike have to say about this? Does Disney pay you for wearing that hat?
I wish.
Kurt, you must have. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm not in control of this one. You must have just joined us, buddy.
I wish.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid about $300 for my D23 ticket, and I waited in line a long time to get into that panel.
Yep. Usually, what ends up happening, Kurt, whenever there is a massive new Disney launch, it's almost when I'm the one going to Disney World and like, oh, Mike would like that. Like your Rogue One T-shirt, or your which is there somewhere, which it was
over there.
It had come out later the year we had gone.
And my Galaxy's Edge hat, which is right
yes, I was going to say, get you a Galaxy's Edge hat too. And you son of a bitch, you actually went. I haven't gone yet. So.
I've been to the one in Disneyland though, not in the one in Disney World.
Right. Well, let's just. Oh, good Lord. We'll clink now.
It was worth it, though. It was worth it. That was an awesome panel.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Was that the one? Oh, yeah. Was that the year of the Natalie Portman announcement?
I believe so, yeah. Well, I mean, that was also the year of they announced Raya. They announced so many things.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a huge panel.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Falcon and Winter Soldier then. And yes, we are going into spoilers for the episode. So, all right. So anyway, again, coming off of, I think I had gone an hour, and I hate that I'm going to be doing this, but based on my viewing habits from the last week, I almost can't help having to mention this, I mean, I watched about an hour to an hour and a half of Snyder Cut prior to the premiere of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I felt like in about an hour of watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, I got more character notes and character tones and character building in that simple 1 hour pilot episode. And keep in mind, the pilot is just there to set the stage. It's just there to set the table. I felt like I got so much more out of it than an hour's worth of I don't know what the hell was going on. And I really loved that we got to know Sam a little better. It's like I almost kind of felt like we should have known some of this stuff beforehand, even as a mention. Well, I didn't know he had a sister. But I'm happy that we did. I'm really happy that we did.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, there was a fantastic action sequence that they started the episode off with, but most of the rest of it was very much just a character study of both Bucky and Sam and where they are right now, and just kind of what they're trying to accomplish in their life. And neither one of them is in a good place. Right.
No, that neither of them are. You can tell that Sam had to give it thought about giving up the shield.
Hmm.
You know, because Cap had seen something in him that was going to make him the next Captain America. But that's a huge, huge mantle.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
wear.
he's had it for about this one takes place about what 5-6 months after Endgame,
something like that. Yeah, they don't really. I think that's the thing. They don't really specify how long after Endgame.
Yeah, I think for WandaVision they say it was like about 9 days. It was about a week and a half after Endgame.
Yeah,
and this one they've mentioned they said it's been like months. So I think it's been about 5 or 6 months
right.
since. Yeah,
and that makes sense because Bucky kind of being able to go into therapy and trying to make breakthroughs and trying to make amends isn't something that happens just immediately. It takes time. It takes buy-in. And somebody who specializes in adult education, that's kind of like you need that buy-in and you need that engagement. So the fact that that's kind of Bucky's thing is that Bucky is really all about, making amends, no matter how miserable he makes some people with them.
and other people how miserable he makes himself.
Oh my goodness. See, that's the thing that I love about this show so far with one episode is that Bucky can now see up close, now that the brainwashing is over, that he can actually see the real world effects that his mindless assassin days caused. And it's heartbreaking. But it is it's very interesting because I like the fact that they're showing this side of vulnerability to a character, because I think in a lot of superhero movies or TV shows, they don't really tend to focus on the after effects of that. And very interesting how Bucky will try to deal with the PTSD that he has from when he was Winter Soldier. Yeah, I think that's an amazing exploration. And I'm going to go back to this a lot, but this is something that the MCU is just excelling at right now, is being able to tell these stories and make they're actually making their protagonists human beings first, superheroes, super beings second.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much every single time we've seen Bucky previously in the MCU, he's been really kind of just like a badass warrior. I mean, yeah, he's a little broken, but just a badass super soldier warrior with a metal arm. Now we're actually seeing, no, he is a broken human being that's suffered for literally almost like 100 years.
Pretty much, yeah. 70 years of 70 years of 70 years plus of suffering minus the 5 when he was blipped out of existence.
Yeah. And just like all that time when he's been killing people and not being able to control it, but like almost like viewing inside his own mind, just viewing his body killing people. And now he's got to deal with, that was me. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't him giving the command, but it was his finger that pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And it really is exceptional storytelling. And then on the flip side was Sam. And I really like that they really kind of, hunker down on this, that, just like, because I remember hearing, I think it was actually Tom and Alex talking about this, about, the guy at the bank was so much into the hero worship. And it also happens a lot with veterans where, we really want to help you, but the numbers aren't there. Nothing exists. I cannot help you, but can I get a selfie with you? And I think it works in a lot with Sam, especially. It works on so many levels, both as a show about a superhero and a war vet and a black man living in America right now, that it's like all three of them, you're not getting a loan from us, buddy.
Right.
And it was interesting though to find out, what do you do for money? Well, we depend on benefactors.
Yeah.
Stark.
Yeah, I mean, I love that bank scene. It was like it was almost like, thank you for your service. I can't help you, but thank you for your service.
Right, exactly. And now can I get a selfie with you? It's
Yeah, it's it was. I mean, I was actually right before we did this. I was watching some reaction videos to that, and one of them was just like, this scene is it's a little bit too real
yeah,
because there are people out there that know exactly what Sam was going through. Sam
right.
and his sister.
Exactly. If you're a returning veteran and you're having difficulty finding work, because your skills don't match up, or you just psychologically can't handle it because you've been deployed for so long, you essentially didn't exist for however long your deployment is. Just like Sam was, just being, I mean, off the grid is a light way of saying what happened to him for 5 years, but yeah, you didn't exist for 5 years, and in that 5 years, I just needed to see some income and didn't have any, and it is really difficult. That scene hit me very hard. I mean, the whole thing, I can understand where Sam's coming from, especially about, I want to keep the boat, I want to keep the house. These were mom and dad's things. I want to keep them, and the sister is being the realistic one, which is interesting because Sam's got this amazing jetpack with wings and a drone friend called Red Wing, and I used to pal around with Captain America.
Yeah.
He's beat up aliens and got beat up by Ant-Man, and it's just like, but his sister is the one that's living in the real world.
Did their parents die before the blip or during the blip, or did
I
they
think they must have died. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think they've gone that far yet.
I think they might have died before the blip, but I need to go back and rewatch it again.
Yeah. That's going to be like one of those. I'm just going to do the whole thing all at once after it's all done.
Yeah, it just seems to me like if they died during the blip, then he would have even more desire to keep that boat.
Right.
Because before the blip, he would want to keep the boat, but I don't think it would be as strong.
Right. Exactly. And the only thing I would just imagine that they died before the blip, only because it's just yet another character that we don't need to be like, I wasn't there for them because I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I just, it is a very interesting story. I like where they're going with it. And I really felt like the entire episode was parceled out really well. They did not mess around. Let's open this up with a high-octane action scene. Let's bring back George St. Pierre's Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah, you know what? I texted Andy after that. I was like, I think of Batroc the Leaper much like I felt about Scarecrow from the Batman trilogy, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. It's like, I didn't like him, but I liked seeing him come back every time.
Yeah, it's one of those nice, refreshing things that you're going to get. You had mentioned it being like Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow in the Nolan Batman films.
That's what I just said.
I'm sorry. It's been a long day. My apologies. But no, I really, because you didn't. Not only did you not see him die, you saw him get out of that helicopter before it blew up.
So he is still around.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, here's something funny because we've. I'm gonna put Zack Snyder aside just to shit on Michael Bay for a second. That the flying squirrel suits were there for a reason, and not just because I want to put those in my Transformers movie.
Those are cool. Let's put them in there. If they're not in the movie, okay, let's write them in there. Yeah, done. Yeah.
But it's amazing. And again, it's that Disney money. It's that sweet, sweet Disney money that they have. That they can actually make a movie. This felt like it could have been pulled out of any of the Captain America movies or any of the Marvel movies for that matter. That chase scene through the canyon was insane.
And
it had, there was a lot of tension, even though the stakes were low because they're not going to kill a Falcon off or injure him horribly in the first episode.
But that guy he was going to save, I mean, they could have killed him off.
They could have.
That would have been
a failed mission. But I really like that, though, because the one thing we never really get to see a lot of is the Falcon in an elongated action scene. And I think that the closest we came to this was immediately after we watched the episode. They recommend, Disney Plus just immediately recommends another episode, and it was Civil War.
Mm.
My kids, outside of the airport scene, my kids have never seen Civil War, so we started watching it. And that is the most action I feel like we saw Sam get in the full, I think even more so than Winter Soldier.
He has some good action scenes in the climax of Winter Soldier.
Oh, he does. He absolutely does. But I think that what they were able to show him do in Civil War, especially with like now the wings are, because when I was watching the Falcon Winter Soldier, it's like, oh man, that's really cool that he can use his wings as a shield. And then it was in Civil War. It was totally in Civil War. They showed him do it in Civil War. And I kind of knew that, but I not so much blocked out, but forgotten about it. So that was really cool. The other thing too is, and this was brought up by Tom and Alex about when he gets shot in the back, and like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Nope, it was Red Wing.
I really like Red Wing. I thought they really used him effectively.
You know what? It makes so much more sense in this context of things than having a bird. It's a nice little thing. I want to see more of that, like, because he really treated him like his best friend in Civil War, and then all of a sudden it was just like, okay, it's just this thing I got to fix.
I do like the fact that when he was fixing it, and the other guy came and was like, "Oh, can I? No, don't touch.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah. No, I think somebody else fixed it and ruined him. So,
yeah.
And it's funny because Falcon as a character throughout the history of the golden age of Marvel Comics was just like Cap's sidekicks have always kind of sucked. They really truly have. Yeah. In fact, there was this Toy Fair Theater had this thing where all these superheroes were playing cards around a table, and Falcon's there, and he's like, "Do you guys want to hear my origin story?" And the thing was like, "Oh no, let me guess." And they just showed an egg, and it popped out. He's like, "Ta-da!" He's like, "That's better than my origin." How you're not a DC hero, I'll never know.
Yeah, Sam is much more effective in the MCU than he was in the comic. I mean, he was fine in the comics, but yeah.
He's just some dude who did the right thing a few times, and Captain America saw some spunk in him. This actually is like, I was a paratrooper, and I was on these super secretive missions. I have a reason for why I'm this good at what I do. Yeah. Which is really, really cool. And I am looking forward to seeing, I know we kind of got it in a flashback, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how Bucky, as the Winter Soldier, is able to function, against adversaries if he makes a mental breakthrough.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I one thing that really surprised me about this episode was that by the end, Sam and Bucky are still nowhere near. I mean, I think Sam's tried calling Bucky a couple times. They mentioned that during the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
But Bucky's just kind of shut himself down, and like Sam's reset a couple times, but they're not a team.
No, they're not a team. I mean, they've always been like Cap's friends.
Yeah.
And without him there, I don't know if you've ever had that before, where you had you were friends with somebody because you had a friend in common with them.
Actually, that's how I met you.
That's pretty much how that works, right? So let's just put it this way, and I'll just actually say Joe as an example, okay? Because I'm friends with you, I'm friends with Joe. You guys met because of me.
Mm-hmm.
What is the actual potential? And I'm, not saying that you guys haven't become friends because of this. You obviously have, and we're all not superheroes. If I'm out of the picture permanently, you might be like, hey, Joe, we should hang out sometime. And it might be okay, we say Joe? That. We say that,
No, I fucking hate Joe. Come on, what the hell?
We're just kidding, Joe. But that's the thing though, is that you have like there are these friendships that only happen because of a central figure, and when that central figure is gone, that friendship, the bonds are weak, and they need to either be strengthened or they need to be like, just admit they're not gonna happen. You know, I do like that they're teasing where Cap is. The debtor's in space.
I heard he's like watching over us from the moon.
No, Cap, you saw as a scroll, ladies and gentlemen. I saw this one thing, and this actually brings me to my, discussing that, they get Don Cheadle for a nice little cameo.
Yeah.
They're showing him watching Sam talk about Cap as he's donating the shield to the Smithsonian, and the furrow in Rhodey's brow looked like an M. Is like, Mephisto!
It's coming together now.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, you were saying about the tone of this is, because it started off that brief quiet moment before the opening title. Then we went to the action scene. Then we got a quiet moment. Then we got the action scene of Bucky's flashback.
Yeah.
Then we got a long quiet moment. Then we got the action scene of the foreshadowing of the villain coming up.
Yeah.
That riot and I think it was Prague standing in for Switzerland.
Prague, yeah.
And yeah, so it's very, very much up, down, which was fantastic for this episode.
Yeah, and the thing is also is that they really haven't really like given you much in terms of the bad guy.
Yeah, we've got the group of flag burners who have the red hand, and we've got the final shot, Mr.
Hold on
okay.
to that final shot, because I do want to say I am so looking forward to seeing Erin Kellyman show up. She is Carly Montague, who I think is actually supposed to be Sin.
She was in this. She was in the episode, actually. She was the one handing out the masks, I think.
Oh, that's right. But you barely saw her.
Yeah.
But I think in the comic book, Sin is the Red Skull's daughter. I'm sure that they will try to find some way to retcon that to something else.
You know what? Hey, well, yeah. Redcon, maybe granddaughter, because at this point daughter would be way too far off.
Something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. We didn't even see Zemo in this episode. And,
right. No,
no
Zemo, no Agent 13.
Yep.
And we have no idea who this like bulky, super soldier villain. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this because it could have gone a number of ways, especially when I found out that Zemo was going to be returning. I'm like, they bringing the Masters of Evil. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued by that. But yeah, it was funny too because I told the coworker about that. Like, well, Zemo was part of the Masters of Evil, and he looked it up. He's like, "Who's Egghead?" I'm like, "Oh, they already featured him in the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Unless she was injected with super serum, then she might not age." Ooh, I like that.
Well, she would age just much more slowly. I still think that would be a bit of a stretch because we saw Cap.
You put it past the Red Skull to freeze inject and freeze a child.
I don't put anything past the Red Skull.
Exactly. Still pissed that our old coworker Joe got that right. But Infinity War.
Just look at how much stuff he got wrong.
That's true. I can always just go to sleep with that knowledge. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Zemo turns out. And then, Mike, the final shot.
Carl Fredrickson as Captain America.
Oh my God. All right. So first of all, I had no idea that Wyatt Russell was the offspring of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
I also, because our friend Steve had brought this up, that they wanted to find somebody with such a punchable looking face that there's no way you, as the audience, are going to get behind him.
And I mean, all respect to Wyatt Russell, but that is one punchable face. That is.
Not only that, you know what? There's always that thing about whenever you're looking to cast somebody in like that full cowl mask. Batman is a perfect example of this. The first thing you need to look first and foremost is a strong chin, a strong jawline. Every single one of the actors that has played movie Batman has had a decent jaw.
Yeah.
Wyatt Russell not only has, I don't know, it's a weak jaw. It's like a protrudent jaw.
Yeah,
I went on his IMDb page. This dude rocks a beard most of the time, and it's probably for that reason. But yeah, he has like one of those faces of a young man. Like, and I'm sure everyone has seen this. That young person who's got an old looking mouth.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah. Carl Fredricksen, if you don't know, is the character from Up.
Yeah.
And he's got a very squishy face, and it looks like he was wearing that mask.
But I am really all right. So there's a number of ways that I am really intrigued to see how they go with John Walker, aka U.S. Agent, because we're talking about. Well, first of all, we're talking about Disney.
Yeah.
We're talking about Kevin Feige. They are really good at melding current political themes within that without bashing you over the head with it. But at the same time, oh boy, do I want this guy to show up on Alex Jones. Oh man, do I want to see, I legitimately want to see the full MAGA Captain America. Only because this is what they were worried about with the Sokovia Accords. Because again, I went back and I watched Civil War afterwards. That we're going to have an agent that works for us, not for the world. It is our agenda that and agendas change. As Cap said, people have agendas and agendas change. I want to see that.
For me, I kind of want to go for different. I want him to be actually a nice guy that's just kind of in over his head.
I kind of want to see that too, but I really kind of want to see, because it really comes down to Sam and Bucky saving the day at some point. So I'm not sure how that worked. However, you know what you can finally put into an MCU movie? That A doesn't stand for France, which is one of the most laughable lines ever in a Captain America comic strip from I think it was the early aughts that he did that.
I don't think I read that issue.
No, I remember here, and people have brought that up, and I'm sure if I looked it up, I could figure it out. This is for what John Walker's here for this thing, because he's got the A on his forehead like Cap did. I am, genuinely the more I was excited for the show. The more you and I are talking about this, the more excited I am to watch tomorrow's episode.
3 more hours. Well, actually, no, sorry, 6 more hours.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I can't stay up that late.
No, me neither.
I have to rewrite a class tomorrow that I have to facilitate at 11:30. I love my job.
Yeah, I have to be to work at 9 a.m. So I'm not staying up that late.
No, I'm not either. And I want to watch it with my kids. My kids are enjoying it, even though it's this one is not as much like WandaVision, where it's oh God, this is shit. Oh God, this is shit. I got stop doing that. Stop it.
I could see Scarlett would enjoying this one more than Jamie. Jamie would enjoy the action, but there's a lot of quiet moments in this that you probably wouldn't like as much.
I'll let you in on a little secret about my son. He can't sit still for anything. So no matter what, Jamie,
no,
you watch this, buddy? Scarlett,
that I knew.
You watching this?
That I knew. Remember, I have been over to your house and tried watching stuff with him.
Yeah, exactly. You've been in movies with that kid too, and I'm amazed he sits down then. But still, the greatest interaction between Batman and the Joker. Fuck you, Snyder.
Anyway,
yeah, that was my thoughts on the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
in the Snyder Cut.
Huh?
In the Snyder Cut.
and the Snyder Cut. Well, that's coming next week. Tom and I are finalizing dates now. Oh boy, I am sending that review, by the way, to our old boss Alcides.
Oh.
I got a lot of texts from him like, "Oh man," but again, it's just that like it's better than the original. Great, doesn't make it a better movie though, does it? It's here's this turd.
Here's it
for you.
Yeah, I mean that's just, one thing I will say is that a lot of those like really glowing positive reviews online are from people that have been like, we want hashtag release the Snyder Cut for the last 4 years. So they're not going to say it's a piece of shit because that would invalidate their last 4 years of their life, and they're not going to do that.
Very
so
true.
they're forcing themselves to enjoy it, even if it's really bad. I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Yep.
I've got some friends that have not been released with Snyder Cut that have said it's better than the Whedon Cut, which, I mean, again, that's not a high bar to cross. And I actually didn't mind the Whedon Cut as much.
Oh, look at this bar. I'm just going to hop over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, well, that's neither here nor there.
Anyway.
I truly wish that you enjoyed some sort of consumable. The Snyder Cut is makeup on a pig. You're not far off, my friend. You are not far off.
Yeah. Moving on. Well, anyway, moving on.
Moving on. So anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to what happens. Just like with WandaVision, I'm really, I mentioned a lot of stuff I want to see. Not going to get my panties in a twist if it doesn't happen. Let's let this story pan out organically. This could very well be a 2-season style show too. Unlike WandaVision, which really kind of had a beginning, middle, and end, it was more of a mini series. I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go. Where do we take Sam? Especially because all the Phase 4 stuff has nothing to do with any of these people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep, Black Widow, which speaking of which, there is an excellent chance that the crew, not just you, not just me, not just Catherine, not just Joe, the crew will be vaccinated by that point.
You're right, because they just pushed off to June, didn't they?
July. So that will be awesome for us if that happens. So we've got that. We've got the Eternals. We've got Shang-Chi. And we've got Spider-Man to round out the year.
I'm actually really, really excited for the Eternals. That's one I've been dying to see anything from.
You know what? If they can get Guardians of the Galaxy right, ... ellipses.
Fair enough.
So anyway, what did you think about the premiere episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier? Leave a polite comment below. We want to know what you think. Where do you think this is going to end up going? Are you just like us and just giving up on trying to make predictions? And, you've got a lot of stuff you would like to see. None of which being Mephisto.
Don't get Mephistoed.
Don't get Mephistoed, folks. That's our advice from us to you. So let us know. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, give us subscribe to the channel here. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share it. We thrive on views, so please let us know. Eventually, one day, I'll actually be pissed when we get demonetized. We need a lot more viewers for that.
Hey, if this gets enough viewing, maybe we'll do the second episode next week.
Maybe this will be our Saturday night, our regular Saturday night thing,
or Thursday night.
Thursday night thing, or whatever night we actually choose to do. We have no schedule. We really have no schedule. However, we do have to do Cars next week.
We do.
We really have to.
We'll have to.
I'm not saying that as like a statement. I'm just saying that as a way to assure myself that we really have to do that.
Yeah, I'll have to try and watch it this weekend sometime.
Yeah.
Or Monday. I'm taking Monday.
Or Monday. Anyway, yes. So anyway, if you like what we do on YouTube, you know what, folks? My guy hosts a little podcast called Geek Salad as well. You can get that wherever you get your podcast from. So iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. Still on Stitcher, even though I can't stand that new layout. Cars. Yeah, Kurt. That's why he put it off for 3 weeks straight. Cars. So you can check that out there. Also, you can check out our full archive at geeksalad.podbean.com. However, I did change our settings for our apps on Podbean. So you should be able to get historic episodes now, which hopefully really works. Yay. We'll try that out. Also, if you want to know what we're up to, follow us on the socials at Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. Also, folks, you want to support the show, we don't have a Patreon, but we do have this sweet swag that we've got right here. T-shirts,
this
mugs.
is.
Hello there.
Yeah, it's not. This isn't from us, but I just got it, and so I'm really proud of it.
It's very cute.
Yes.
So yeah, check that out there. We will eventually, when I have a decent rainy day and have nothing to do at work, maybe I'll bring the laptop down. I'll design some stuff for new T-shirts. That would be nice.
I'll maybe look into Patreon because everyone else seems to be doing it.
Everybody seems to be doing Patreon, but realistically speaking, Mike, we put all of our stuff out now.
Yeah, no.
I legitimately do not have time for another thing.
I've got ideas, but I don't know how fluid they are.
You would need to do those ideas with another member of our massive crew.
No. This is not ideas like that.
Gotcha. Anywho, so yeah, you can check out all of our stuff there. So until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful and on your right.